last night.
Test.
Hello. This is...
I'm Brandon.
I'm Zach.
So this week Ryan is not here. He's got some adult stuff to do. So just so we can get another episode out, we're here. You got the...
Yeah, you've got the dynamic duo of gaming.
the B team.
I wouldn't say we're the B team.
Right, D. Sorry, let's go lower.
We're clearly like bottom F tier. Like, you know, like how video games, it's like F, E, D, C, B, A, S.
And then SS.
SS,
or S plus, or whatever. Yeah,
we're like so far down. We're like below F.
Oh, okay.
Like,
we're not even on the...
Do people actually listen to this podcast because it's good?
I don't think so. I don't even know if anyone listens to this podcast.
I don't know anymore.
Let's look at... Well, while we're getting this all started, let's look at SoundCloud and see how many views we have.
Ryan has control over all of that. He won't even make us admins on the Nothing Coherent Facebook page. So, I mean, we don't know what we're doing. We just come in here and say the thing.
Yeah, I just come in, talk... try to... Oh, I'm starting to play another episode on my phone. Let's not do that.
Whatever. Who's going to copyright sue us? Us?
Yeah, I'll sue myself.
Okay. Actually, can you sue yourself? Is that a thing?
Oh, hold on. Oh, no, wait.
Episode
23 has 10 views.
Oh, yeah. We're breaking in that non-existent money. Anyway, what you been up to? What you been doing this past week?
So I missed another movie thing because I was playing Zelda. I missed Primal.
Oh, yeah?
Which I was kind of upset about.
Primal is the
Guinea... I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. It's the guy who made Samurai Jack. It was the...
Oh, that! You missed that.
The premiere. Yeah, I missed the... Because the show doesn't start till October 7th.
Yeah.
It's the first 4 episodes. And I was like, well...
You were just playing too much Zelda.
I was really into it. I mean, I had a long day at work, too.
Yeah.
So, like, when I got home, and by the time I got to play Zelda, it was like, I was so into it, and then... I was like, oh, the movie starts in 10 minutes. I was like, it takes me 25 to get over there. And I was like, I don't want to...
Yeah, I
don't want to go and miss... I mean, if it was like I don't know. I just wasn't... I didn't want to... I love his stuff, his work.
Right.
But I was like, I want this to get my full attention.
Right. If you miss anything, especially when it's like the first 4 episodes, you're going to miss some context there, so...
Right, and I didn't want to do that. So, but I beat Zelda. I'm going to talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
Link's Awakening is the one Zelda game that I know I beat when I was a kid because, I mean, like, it came out in 93.
Yeah.
I think 93,
92 or 93, yeah. It's before we were born.
93. So, like, I got it with my Game Boy Color because I got when they did the remake, Link's Awakening DX. And I remember playing it, but I couldn't tell you most things about it.
I can't tell you anything about it.
And so, playing through it now, there were a lot of things that were, like, coming back to me. It's like, I remember this. Like, I remember what this looked like. I remember seeing this on my Game Boy.
Yeah.
But there were things that I was like, wow, I'd have never... Like, I just don't remember this at all.
Right.
Like, there's platforming parts where there's, like, Goombas. Yeah. And I was like...
Well, they added the Goombas in for the Switch version, right?
No.
They're originally from...
A bunch of Mario characters are in the original.
I knew Chain Chomp was in there.
Chain Chomp, Shy Guys, Piranha Plants. You're going to see a lot of, like... Well, I guess, like, only 4.
Like, the most iconic ones, basically.
Yeah.
Minus, like, Bullet Bill and Bob-omb, so...
I would say the reason for that, though, is probably because of just, like, money. Probably, like, money and time to be like, hey, we don't have the money to make more sprites for this game, so it's just...
You know what, though? Like, I like that, though, because it makes it feel like the games are connected in a way.
Yeah, well, and... Well, I won't spoil it. I know why they did it, but,
Yeah.
So another thing, though... Okay, so Link's Awakening, though, doesn't hold your hand.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things in the game where I would spend hours...
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out. And I, like, had to look up so many things because I was like, I know I'm not stupid. And then I'd, like, look it up and I'd be like, I don't know how I would have gotten
I want to pick it up when I get paid this coming paycheck. I really want to.
Yeah.
A lot of people are making comparisons to, like, Majora's Mask.
It is, and that's why I saw...
Like, the side quest stuff and everything.
I told him before we began that you can see the groundwork that this set for Majora's Mask, at least character-wise,
right,
where there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of, like... And like, Majora's Mask, you can beat it without seeing everything.
Yeah.
Like, you can beat the game and not see all that. This game requires you to see everything.
Yeah.
This game, one day, when you beat it, we can do a spoiler talk, I guess. Yeah. Because I don't want to ruin... I mean, if you don't know anything about the game...
I don't remember, that's the problem. Like, I know I played it, I don't know if I ever beat it.
There's a lot of things in it that I was like, man, that's emotional. And there is a secret ending, which I did not get because you can't die.
Yeah.
To get it.
Wow.
Yeah, which isn't hard. I only died some of them were my own stupidity. I died 7 times. That was my death count at the end of it.
That sounds intimidating, though.
Yeah, but there is the color dungeon, which is like the add-on for like when they did the GBA.
Yeah.
Not the GBA, the Game Boy Color version, which gives you new armor, which is either double damage or half damage. Half damage you take, or you deal double damage. You deal double,
yeah.
And like if you do the half take, which is like you will rarely die.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, I mean, it's like double defense in like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, and if they have a bunch of like items that drop that give you double attack or double defense, so like you can stack. You take a quarter. Like you lose 25% of a heart.
Yeah.
During some of the hits, so
it's a little broken.
Yeah. I do strongly recommend this game. It is hard, and especially the 7th dungeon. It just takes such a difficulty spike.
Yeah, that's what I've always heard about the handheld Zeldas.
And it is so stupid. And it's so frustrating because, that was probably the most time I spent outside of going back, which I learned I didn't glitch the game. There was an area that in the walkthrough I watched didn't go in.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, well, so I redid the entire first part of the game again, which took me 2 hours. So, I mean,
right.
But I lost a day's work.
Right.
But it's whatever. I love the game. It's definitely one of the best Switch games you could get right now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to say this in full confidence, but I might like it more in Breath of the Wild as a Zelda game. But that's because as a Zelda game, it feels so much...
Breath of the Wild is its own beast of a game. It's not that we don't like Breath of the Wild.
I think Breath of the Wild's like a 10. But
But is it a true core Zelda game?
Yeah.
Compared to all the others.
Right, and that's my thing. And, I love Breath of the Wild, and I'm glad they're going to get to do stuff like that. I'm so excited for Breath of the Wild,
too. Yeah, for sure.
But, Link's Awakening, for me, was the nice refresher. It's I got something different, but let me have something a little, the same.
Let me get the classic dungeon exploration Zelda.
Right, it's kind of what I wanted the Star Wars movies to be like, where the spin-offs were, something completely different and wild and out there. Didn't relate to any of them. Rogue One, I guess, would be my example.
We're going to talk about Star Wars today.
I saw. Well, I'm not I'm not the biggest fan of Rogue One, but it was different enough that
it was its own thing.
I enjoy it. I still think it's not great.
Yeah. You can lift that movie out of the movie series though, and it not affect anything.
Right. Well, Breath of the Wild, for example, is I know people who played that who never touched another Zelda, and you wouldn't have to. Yeah. And that's the thing. Link's Awakening, you could go either way. I would recommend because it does follow up some other Zelda games. Right. Because it's a direct continuation of some of them, but
right.
It's just whatever. Because you'd be like, well, why does it start like this, and what happens after it ends?
That's because it connects to a specific moment in a different game.
Yeah, it's part of the hero dies timeline.
Right.
So,
that's what I thought. I was like, that's got to be what it is.
It takes place right after, I think, Zelda 2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love it. It's a 9.5. There are some problems. The graphics are phenomenal.
Yeah, for me, the graphics were the thing that caught my attention.
I love it. I love the graphics so much. I bought the Link amiibo. I went out and bought the Link's Awakening.
It's cute.
Amiibo. Oh my gosh,
it's a cute artsy game.
Yeah, and I'll never open the amiibo, but it's just it's such a strong recommendation. If you own a Switch, you owe it to yourself to play this. Yeah. And for everyone who's it's $60, it's not worth it for that. I want to stress that Walmart sells it for $50. So that price alone is $50. I get would have been more fair. So whatever, but for $60,
I'm trading Fire Emblem in to help pay for it. So,
but for $60, look at it as Grezzo remade this from the ground up. Mm-hmm. Everything is redone. It's not like a remaster. It's none of that. Nothing like that. Where just textures are updated.
That's the big thing for me with games like that.
Yeah, it's a full from the ground up remake. Same thing with Crash, or Spyro or Crash Team Racing.
Right. When those came out, those were full remakes.
Yeah, I mean they were cheaper for sure. You're all $40.
Right.
But this game, I get it. I get the comparisons you can make. There's just so much work that went into this, and so much love and care that I think it's worth $60. So I mean, and you can hold off one day, maybe it'll be on sale, but I mean, who really knows with Nintendo? But I recommend it. Yeah. I strongly recommend it. I've also been playing a little bit more Borderlands.
How are you feeling about it? I'm hearing mixed things from a bunch of different people.
Here's the thing. I think I really like it. Mm-hmm. I really liked it the first day I got to play it. I was super addicted, but then coming back to it, I was like, man, I don't know if I should have bought like limited edition where it has like the season pass because I don't know if I want to keep this.
Right.
Which sucks because like
I'm always weary about that with games now because my attention span on games is just so short now.
yeah, well, and I loved Borderlands 2, and so I was
Right.
like, I had like blindly went into 3, and I was like, I've been playing it. I'm like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is nice, but
Like I still haven't even gotten Gears of War 5.
which I've heard is really good.
Yeah, I want to get it. It's just
Game
like
Pass.
yeah, I'm gonna eventually set that up.
Do Game
I'm
Pass
just-
and then
I'm just
play that in
lazy.
Blair Witch.
I'm lazy.
But that's what I'm gonna do eventually.
Yeah.
I was like, whenever things calm down, because I also bought. I need to beat Control. I only have like a couple hours left in Control, and I need to beat Dragon Quest 11,
Yeah.
which I just got Dragon Quest 11.
Aren't those really long?
It's like 80 plus hours.
Oh god,
So-
it's Fire Emblem all over again. We're gonna lose you.
But it's it's really 80 hours, not the 30 hours that Fire Emblem ended up being.
Oh, you mean like how they lied?
Yeah, well, it's 80 hours for all the campaigns probably, but it's not for just one of them. So
yeah,
that's,
like a liar.
yeah. So, we watched a bit more Breaking Bad.
How far are you into it now?
We're like episode 9 of season 4.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
a little bit past you then.
Yeah, we just haven't had the time to watch anymore.
Sure.
And so,
So like obviously your fiance likes the show now.
yeah,
Like-
I hope so. If not, she's just watching it. Just to
Well,
watch
I've asked her directly, and she says that she likes it, and she really likes Jesse.
Oh yeah, I mean everyone really likes Jesse. I'm
Right.
really worried because Netflix has been promoting like crazy on social media, like new clips from the movie, and I'm like, one, I don't want to see anything else.
Yeah.
I saw the I watched too much. I already watched. I've seen the teaser with him sitting in the car, and I've
Yeah.
seen the teaser of Skinny Pete, and I'm like, that's already too much.
Yeah. I don't want any more
And
because if they say something in the teaser that like could give something away.
yeah, well, and they've been like hints have been dropped by actors and stuff of people who's returning, and I'm like, stop talking, like.
Right. Like I don't want to know who's coming back. I want to
Yeah.
be surprised.
So, but yeah, that's where we're at. She can kind of hear us, so keep spoilers
Yeah.
to like a minimum.
So like
Which sounds weird for a show that's like.
right, but like
but-
she's in the other room. I don't want her to know things.
Yeah,
that
I've
happen.
been so paranoid that she's gonna like see a spoiler.
Right, because if certain things get spoiled,
Yeah.
then it's like I don't want to finish this now because the moment is gone.
Yeah, which it was crazy because I remember watching it as I started watching Breaking Bad when
Ozymandias, yeah.
that episode aired. So it was like that week when everyone was freaking out.
Oh yeah.
I was like in the middle of season 4, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna rush through, and it took me like just with work and everything, it took me like another 2 weeks to get caught
Yeah.
up. So when I got caught up, it was like the finale had aired that night.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like blown away. I was like, man, I'm so glad this wasn't ruined for me, or like
Yeah.
I got to enjoy this. I got to be in
Right.
the moment.
No, man. I remember watching that episode with my family live, and we never would just like, because we would always DVR them. We always skipped the commercials. We watched through the commercials after that opening scene just because of how intense it was, and
Yeah.
we needed a moment of like relief. Because that's the most intense moment in the entire show.
Yeah.
Like by far, to me at least. You can argue the finale,
Different reasons, but yeah.
but like that's where like the show reaches, I think, its climax
Well, I think that's
for that person's.
that's the ending,
Art.
and then the epilogue is the last two. Is how
Right.
they always pitched it, because it's like 2 years later or something like that.
Yeah, something. And it's just like, okay, like this is the moment where everything has reached its worst point.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is clearly the end. And like I finished season 4 Friday night after work, and I just forgot how much I love the finale to season 4.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited to
Like,
get there.
What was the last thing you guys saw? I think it's
Walt and Jesse fought.
Walt and Jesse fought.
Because Jesse's like, hey, I've got to go to Mexico because of all
Yeah.
this. And Walt's like,
I was gonna say.
he's playing you and like all that.
I was gonna say, have you gotten to the point where like Gus put the bag over Walter's head yet, and like was like, we're gonna kill your family, or whatever, or no? Because I don't think you have.
No, I don't think so, but I also... I mean,
wanna
like,
say-
here's the problem, though. While she's watching it, I'm playing Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
So,
I want to say that's the next episode,
it could be. For all I know, we already passed that, but I don't think so.
because like.
Because Walt still seems delusional on, like, his reason to kill Gus. I mean, like, there's...
Right.
It's grounded in some sense, but in another, you're like, Walt, you're just crazy. Like.
Well, yeah, Walt's paranoid.
Yeah.
Because, like, he thinks everything is all about Gus trying to kill him.
Right.
And to a certain extent, he's right. Because Walt became a huge hazard risk in the season 3 finale.
Well, yeah, I mean, even
before that.
The problem is Jesse, all of it, I mean, I get it, but watching this again, it's, if Jesse had just, I don't know, if Walt had just killed Jesse, which sounds bad because I love Jesse,
right?
None of this would have been a problem. He would have been with Gale, him and Gale would have been totally fine, and they would have lived out their day.
Right. But here's the thing, Jesse and Walt realized they needed each other. Because, without Walt, Jesse can't cook, so Jesse's useless, but...
Walt doesn't need Jesse.
Walt doesn't need Jesse, but at the same time, he cares for Jesse.
Right, and that's why I understand, that's why he's not going to kill him. But, even Saul makes a good point of, just shank him when they're not looking. How bad... But, he's talking about, Badger, but,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I get it. I'm glad how the show played out, but just for, Walt could have done that at any point, and it would have been so much easier.
By the time we get to season 5, it gets to that point.
Yeah, I know. And I get where we arrive at. It's just, getting there, you're
I think it was just more that, Walt knew he could trust Jesse 100% versus everybody else, I think. And I think that's why Jesse felt the same way about him. Because at the end of the day, even after all the fighting and everything, they still are we have to get out together.
Yeah.
Without you, this doesn't work. Which I love because their dynamic is, the best aspect of the show, I think.
Yeah, I really like their dynamic. It is the foundation of the show.
Yeah. What else have you been up to before we just go on and on about Breaking Bad? Because we're going to talk more about Breaking Bad over the next few weeks, obviously.
My fiance loves Big Brother. It ended this week.
Yeah, I watched Survivor this week because it started.
Oh, yeah, did it?
Mm-hmm. I liked it.
So Big Brother's been another thing that's taken up our time because unfortunately the jerk, it's hard to say if he's racist or not. The jerk won. But everyone,
Jack?
No, Jack got voted out. Jackson.
Jackson.
Or Nikki or...
Yeah.
So, it's whatever. I don't really care. I like Big Brother to an extent.
Yeah.
But...
out of all the players left, do you think he deserved to win? Did he play the best game?
Game, yes, but it was a dirty game.
His attitude.
His personality towards people. They even... So, the best part of it, though, and I will show you sometime, on the finale night, they, on live TV, called him out for being a racist. And it just ruins his victory. He's stone-faced. He's not happy when he wins. At the end of it, I know, it was so satisfying.
That's awesome.
But
I'm glad that people are willing to be no, you may have won the game, but you didn't win
Yeah, well, America's Favorite was also the third place winner. She was picked, which she deserved it.
Yeah.
The funny thing, and we were talking about this, I said the only reason they addressed it is because a couple of years ago, Big Brother got into the mainstream news because they had a super huge racist who they had to kick out of the house.
Oh wow!
And, yeah, I was well, they did it because of her. I was they called him out so CBS could be hey, we acknowledge that he's a racist, and or he's a jerk. He said racist comments.
Right. And well, there's no place for it.
Right. Well, it's such it's a douchey thing, and the problem was that somebody else was doing it too, and so it's just I know. I mean, they all just play off each other, and I guess there's it's whatever.
But that's one of those things where you're gonna be on TV, you're gonna be involved around other people that are probably going to be difficult to deal with, right?
Right.
And to me, I'm just I would never stoop so low to insult somebody based off of their race. That to me is just such a foreign concept. So when I heard about that, I was I don't really want to watch Big Brother. If they're going to have people on there who are racist.
Yeah.
I feel that should be one of the qualifications to where, if you say something like that, you're just out.
But, they do have, a warning system. They have, so many things. Because, heat of the moment, you'll say something. And
sure, I understand that.
The debate is that, I'm not justifying it. I wanted him out. I wanted him,
Yeah. But, if the behavior continues...
Right. That's my thing.
Especially to, the point where they're, they acknowledge on the finale... Oh, yeah, you're a racist.
Yeah.
You probably should have just evicted him from the house then.
Yeah, that was my thing. But, moving on from that, I don't think... I bought Ori in the Blind Forest. I need to start that. I was going to start that the other day, but after beating Zelda, I was just I need a break.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. We worked on the house a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else I got to watch or play.
Okay. Well, we already talked about Breaking Bad. I didn't really watch any other movies or anything recently.
Yeah,
I haven't been to the theater or anything. There hasn't been anything that I really want to see.
Yeah, I meant to see Ad Astra still, but
I want to, but like I don't have the time.
The problem is I want to see an IMAX, and I basically missed my window for it.
Here's the thing: am I going to see that or the Joker movie?
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah.
What do you think about everybody talking about the Joker movie and comparing it to John Wick in like terms of violence or whatever? Because I've been seeing that a lot on.
I haven't seen that. I've seen a lot more of like people worried it's going to like encourage
violence.
So here's where the story, all of it comes up. So
right, because I've been wanting to talk about this with somebody because I'm like, to me, I get why people are concerned.
So yeah, well, I told my mom, I was like, we need to bring something when we go see Joker, because I was like, maybe nothing will happen. Right. I was like, I doubt anything would happen, but I don't want to be that one time when I'm like,
right, and like, here's the thing, people. I've seen it on Facebook at least a lot, on comicbook.com's comment section, and I usually only follow that just because people are stupid, but these people are just being insensitive at this point, where they're laughing and saying, oh, you need to get over it, and I'm like, have we really gotten to the point where we're insensitive to something that literally only happened 7 years ago?
Yeah, well, so
like,
the big thing is the FBI has watched some comments based on people talking about shooting up theaters. Right. In honor of Joker.
Right. And people are like, that's not true. And I'm like, no, it is true. They've even reported it in the news.
Yeah, to some extent it's true, but regardless of what the severity of it is.
Right. The fact that somebody is saying that means that there should be action taken.
Right. Well, I said, all it takes is one. Like, all it takes is one guy to do it, and then the rest follow. It's the premise of the Joker movie, from my understanding.
Right. Well, I mean, people were saying the violence shouldn't matter. It's not about the violence in the movie. People don't care about violence. Game of Thrones is like the most beloved series of all time.
Yeah, you don't go have incest after watching that show.
Right.
It's this. Like, I get the concept of it being like,
because people were saying, well, that movie theater played John Wick. That's the same thing. I'm like, it's really not. John Wick is an action movie. Joker is a drama about a guy losing his mind and becoming a criminal.
Yeah, well, and so specifically talking about the Aurora theater that's not playing it. Mm-hmm. I think their action for it is fine. That's all. A lot of the family's victims are just like, hey, there's a lot of like, this encourages stuff we don't want, and it's related to something that we're still like,
people are still grieving that.
And the theater managers are basically the ones that made the call. They're like, yeah, we're gonna do it. So I mean, like,
right, and it doesn't affect you. Like,
it's one theater.
Right, like, and I don't get why people made such a big deal out of it. To me, I'm just like, they're not trying to censor the film.
Yeah.
They're not trying to remove the film from theaters altogether. A movie theater can play whatever movie they want, regardless, right? So it doesn't matter. To me, I'm just like, the way people are reacting to it, like they're doing something wrong, disgusts me.
Yeah, that does frustrate me.
I'm like, how can you tell somebody that their like reaction or experience to something is unwarranted?
Right, and I agree with that, which has been super frustrating to like witness this, because I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, it almost just makes me think maybe we do need a movie controversial like this, because it's going to be a thought-provoking film, I think.
Yeah,
about the mindset of a person.
Right. Well, and so here's going to be the interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
All the negative reviews for the movie have been from America. Have been from American critics who are like, we're not ready for this because this is too. It's similar to things that have been happening.
Right. Well, I mean, think about like all the extreme acts of violence that have occurred just this year alone.
Yeah, I know. And so that's
like this movie is super raw to a lot of people.
Yeah, and I get people being like
concerned.
Well, I get the concern. I get for everyone who like makes fun of the movie or is like, oh, that's stupid. Nobody's gonna do anything like that. It's gonna take one guy. It's gonna take one guy one incel who gets pushed too far.
I think that, and people are like, well, they're responsible for their own actions. Okay, that's true, but literally in 2012, somebody in the name of the Joker went and killed people.
Yeah, and now so my thing is, they're responsible for their own action, but theaters should also be responsible for like
their patron safety.
If these threats have been made,
right?
And all theater chains, my understanding, have talked about upping security because of these threats.
Right.
We'll see if that's the case.
Yeah, I've been considering holding off seeing Joker.
Yeah,
for a little bit.
We're going opening night, so I'm a little...
I'm not going opening night because I have to work. I'll probably end up going, depending on if there's a showing, I'll probably go like Saturday morning at like noon or whatever.
Yeah. I'm going to be curious. I wish we were going to Alamo because I feel like that's more safe, but we have A-list, so we're going to AMC.
You know, I was actually talking about that with one of my coworkers, and he said that he actually felt like Alamo is probably less safe. And here's why. With Alamo, you can just walk right into the theater, and nobody like stops you to check your tickets until you get into the theater.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So you can just walk right into any theater, and it not be a big deal.
Yeah.
With AMC or even Regal, like there's the guy who checks your tickets and everything. So somebody can't just walk straight in. And when he said that, I was like, you make a fantastic point.
That is good. But I think, like, so let's say, regardless, they're going to get in. That's my thought.
Right.
And I just think if shots are taken, it'd be a quicker reaction at Alamo for somebody to run out because there's so many servers moving through there.
Yeah.
And get out and get somebody. However, AMC, though, I mean, like, if they have a cop, I don't know.
I feel like there's probably going to be some sort of response, at least in our area.
Yeah, I don't think...
Like...
I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to report back on it in 2 weeks. No, it's this week.
It's so this week. That's
next
why
episode.
I'm
Yeah, next episode, if I'm still here. Well...
We could be wrong. I would love for us to be wrong.
I mean, I'd rather take the safe than sorry approach.
Yeah.
Where I'd rather us be over paranoid because of how many shootings have happened this year.
Right.
And I get it. They're not mass shootings, but just shootings in general. Just like
a shooting is a shooting.
Yeah.
People die, and it shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm gonna be curious. My theater is not selling out as quickly, and I was wondering if that was part of it. Was that fear?
I've been wondering that because I've been checking Alamo every couple.
Well, now
hours.
Alamo has a bunch of sold out showings already.
Right.
So,
but like other theaters don't, and I'm just like, that's interesting to me.
But I mean, it's not like I don't think Joker's like. I don't know. I think the controversy could go either way.
I think the controversy is going to create a lot more buzz for the film, though.
I do too.
Like, a lot more people are going to be interested in seeing it. I was actually wondering if the controversy got so bad to the point where they would try to find just a way to distribute it digitally.
Yeah, I would think the worst case scenario would be that. Except, so I think of this movie like The Interview.
Exactly. I was about to say, what was the film about Kim Jong-un?
Yeah, I worked at the theater. Now, to be fair, Sony was hacked. So there was at least some grounds for being like,
right.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
But
like, if for whatever reason there were actual incidents because of this movie, I could see it being pulled. I could see it, like... And Warner Brothers would be like, okay, well, if you want to see the film, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, well, I'd say worst case scenario, go digital only.
Right. Which
would increase its sales. Like, The Interview was digital only for a little... It was digital same day as the theater release. And I think the digital sales were, like, crazy. Like, and honestly, that movie did better because of the controversy.
Right.
Because people were like, well, I want to see the movie that would have caused World War III.
Yeah, I was thinking that about the Joker because of, like, how many people are talking about how, like, it could possibly encourage... acts of aggression.
Yeah, which it could go, like I said, it could go either way. I really don't... I would rather be safe than sorry, of course, but I really don't think there'll be a shooting based off it. But, again...
Right. I don't either, but I understand why people are concerned.
Right, and I mean, like, we live in an age where, I mean, like...
There's one on average per day.
Yeah, so...
Like...
Who knows? I hope nothing happens, but...
Yeah.
So what was your next thing you wrote down after Joker?
I wrote George Lucas and Disney. So let's just talk about Disney in general.
So let me address something on this.
I have a hit and miss relationship with Disney this week.
But okay, so here's the thing though.
I'm not mad at them, but I'm kind of disappointed.
Here's my thing. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate for this one.
Sure, go for it.
After the prequels,
I get it.
How do you expect Star Wars fans to respond?
Right.
Here, my thing is, and Jeremy Johns did the best video on it, where I did feel emotional, where I did feel...
I watched that this morning.
Yeah, I felt bad, but in my mind, I was still like...
I watched his and Star Wars theories.
I was still like,
morning.
Here's the thing. He wanted to hone in on midi-chlorians and all of that, and so, like, everyone who complains about the prequels would have been like, man, Disney is screwing this up. It would have been, at the end of the day, I think Disney... Here's the thing. Granted, you're taking the creator out of it, and people who now after Last Jedi, people are like...
Now it's only gonna get worse.
Well, after Last Jedi, people are like, well, the prequels aren't that bad. Okay, shut up. Here's the thing, and here's my problem with it, is those movies, whatever Lucas probably wrote, probably would have been just like the prequels, and Disney would have been crapped on. People would have been like, Disney's killing Star Wars, why'd you make this? And then they'd be like, well, George Lucas helped make it. And be like, well, this is why Fox wouldn't pick it up and do George Lucas's movies. Because he's been pitching 7, 8, 9 for years. He pitched it for years before Disney bought him.
Right.
So, like, it's not that... I get it. I get to the point of view
I get why people are upset.
Yeah.
And I kind of am. Because, to me, I was always under the assumption that George Lucas liked what they were doing. So, because he never said anything.
Well,
but he was contractually obligated to say nothing.
No, Lucas was pretty vocal during 7.
Right.
Lucas had said, well, here's the thing, Bob Iger's book is what revealed this. So Bob Iger himself...
Right, I read a little bit of the chapter.
Yeah, is what revealed this, for the record. Lucas said during press interviews, I don't remember who I watched was talking about this, was talking about how he didn't care for 7. How he already felt that they weren't going in his direction, but...
He commented that he felt that it added nothing new to the series and that the movie didn't need to be made.
Right. Here's my thing. So...
Which, I mean, is kind of true.
Right. I don't agree with Nostalgia Critic anymore. I don't really like it. I watch his content, but I don't agree with him at all on anything, really.
Yeah.
He made a video, though, on Force Awakens back when it came out. At the end of the video, he compares it. He said this... So he's done another... It's like a Christmas special. But he's like, this video is so much like my last Christmas special. Why'd I do it? And he's like, well, we screwed up once in the past. We want to prove that we can do it again. So you make a movie that's super similar. I mean, yeah, it is just New Hope repainted. But it's a better New Hope.
Yeah.
I'll say it. Force Awakens is a better New Hope. And so...
I'm not track our IP address now.
But here's the thing: even though Rey is kind of a Mary Sue in that movie, I'm ignoring The Last Jedi, just comparing New Hope to Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Rey is as much a Mary Sue as Luke was in New Hope, because Luke, it's like he's vaguely was a pirate. He shot things with a BB gun, then he just comes out here and flies a plane,
he blows up the Death Star.
So like in my mind, and I get it. I get the controversy behind it. I get that Lucas was upset, and that's fair. I mean, like, it's your baby. You sold your baby
right, like, that to me is what I think hurts Star Wars fans the most, is to see George Lucas so upset about it.
Yeah, now...
Because the whole idea of him selling Star Wars was he was trying to find somebody to leave it to that he could trust. And according to the book, him and Bob Iger were friends, and he felt as if Bob Iger used that to buy Star Wars. And then immediately... went completely against his word. They didn't have a written agreement to use his ideas, but it was more of a verbal one, to my understanding from the book.
Yeah, so I heard that somewhere later in the chapter, Caitlin Kennedy and JJ...
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy was appointed by Lucas right before the sale took place because he wanted to put somebody in charge.
Right. Well, so my understanding is they still use his idea in pre-production. They were, like, talking about it. But as they were mapping things out, they're like, this doesn't really work for the direction we want to go.
Right.
All this, so like, do I think betraying Lucas like that was wrong? A little bit, but I also feel like it's not like they weren't obligated.
No, they weren't.
I get that, and I get like,
and a lot of people are like, well, they weren't obligated, but at the same time, like, they should have tried their best to work with what Lucas gave them, and I'm like, they really don't have to though. They didn't have to even make episode 7.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
no, they were going to make it.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. But, like, they could have just been like, no, you know what? We're just buying this, and we're just going to, like, live off of the merch and just be done with it and just have the rights to it for our own streaming service, which is basically what they're doing now. Because they're making The Mandalorian, they're making Obi-Wan, they're making all this other stuff.
Which Obi-Wan got a director, basically somebody who done some of the Better Call Saul, and who's, I guess she did some work on Mandalorian. That we'll see. I guess they liked her so much on that whatever episode she did. They were like, "Hey, you're going to be the showrunner for Obi-Wan."
That's awesome. Good for her.
Which I've never heard of her, by the way. Never once.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see.
But yeah, I feel kind of bad for Lucas, but at the same time, I don't think that Disney should get as much flack as they're getting.
Yeah, I think it's both sides, because
it's a double-edged sword.
If you want to be that mad at Lucas or that mad at Disney, well, Lucas should have never sold Star Wars, because at the end of the day, Fox would have somebody would have done the same thing. Episode 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, and somebody was going to do something.
Yeah, if you want to be mad, best case scenario, Lucas should have been like, hey, I will I want Disney to distribute Star Wars from now on. I want
Right.
Disney to take over.
But I want to make them.
Yeah.
Still. Like, he could have negotiated a deal.
Sell him Indiana Jones and then be like, hey, but I want to make these. I want.
He wanted to retire.
Well, yeah,
that was the thing. He wanted out. He was ready to sell, and to me, I'm just like, okay, if you want to sell, then you have to accept the fact that you're no longer in charge.
Right, and so like that's my thing, and I get it. I get the controversy because you're squashing a creator in a sense, and people want to just hate on Disney a lot right now.
Well, yeah, Disney is just the company that does everything wrong. But then when a Marvel movie comes out, everybody praises them. So it's like it doesn't make any sense.
So and that's my thing.
Pick a lane.
And like Rise of Skywalker might just be like.
It could be okay.
Damage control.
Right.
But I mean, like at the end of the day, like Last Jedi isn't really that bad. It's rough.
But it's got its problems, but it's not the worst Star Wars movie.
Right. And every fan who's like, well, I don't like Last Jedi. Well, you complained so much that Disney wasn't doing anything different. Then they do something a little different. They take the characters in a new route. And I get that some of them are
great
in character, and you'd argue like Luke or something like that. Some of them, but like, I don't know. I just think it's so.
I felt like what they did with Luke made sense.
I do. I feel like based off of how Kylo... Honestly, and that's the crazy thing, is that Last Jedi, I honestly would argue, is good if they got rid of the Finn and Rose stuff, which I don't hate Rose. I don't hate her actress. I'm not going to like.
No.
I think it's just...
I think that she got treated very poorly by the community. She was just doing her job.
Yeah, I think the problem is that the character sucks. I think there wasn't much written for her.
Her arc wasn't good because the plot that she was in wasn't good.
Yeah.
You could have easily had that character in the movie and been fine. But it was just like, I personally feel like the bigger problem came from Admiral Holdo, not Rose.
Well, both of them. Because she should have told Poe the plan.
Right.
Because Poe wasn't a small... I mean, Poe's... Whatever. She should have told Poe the plan.
Right. Poe was clearly loyal to the Resistance.
Yes. Yeah. Honestly, the Resistance stuff is all the problem.
I think so, too.
Because everything
with like
Rey,
Luke,
and Kylo is phenomenal.
Right.
I love all that.
Even the Snoke death, I think, is great.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, that's not subverting expectations properly. I'm like, it's perfectly subverting your expectations because you don't know what Snoke is. Snoke could literally be like some sort of apparition of Palpatine. You don't know yet.
I think it's a failed Palpatine clone.
Right. I'm like, it could be anything. But I have said since we left the theater that night, we all were reading the reviews and we were like, this is going to be a divisive film. Like, we could tell just based on like what they were saying. And I was like, by the end of this, people's opinions are going to change. But now, with all this stuff about George Lucas, I feel like the Star Wars purist / loyalist, they're not even going to give Disney a chance at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see what happens from here on out. I think it's unfair.
At least with the movies they won't. I think with Disney Plus, they might be like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, we'll give this a chance because it's not related to...
My crazy thing about it is that this was from Bob Iger's book. So,
right.
Like, John said it best, either he's totally out of touch, or this is just his apology to Lucas to be like, hey, we know
I kind of wonder if he wrote that directly or if he had, like, a ghostwriter writing down his thoughts.
Yeah, I wonder. Because I was like, that's really weird that you put that on there.
Well, not only that, but, like... If that's the case, why would you release this only like 2 or 3 months before
Rise of Skywalker?
Skywalker.
I was like,
Maybe it's a marketing ploy to get people to talk about the movie.
Maybe. I just feel like that's really weird. But
I don't know.
Let's move on to the other Disney thing.
Spider-Man is back for one film.
No, hold on.
Right? So, one standalone.
Just like I said, this is all a giant ploy.
Yeah.
He's back for one standalone and one other Marvel movie.
Right.
So he has 2 films left in the contract. Here's my thoughts on it. So, one, this was all just is stupid. If you here's the thing. I knew he'd come back regardless of. My thought was worst case scenario he's in Venom 2.
Right.
And then they're like, okay, fans didn't respond that way, so here we'll do some goodwill and put him back in the MCU.
Right. I was thinking. What's going to happen is Sony's going to make a request / demand for their Spider-Man universe. I don't know what they even call it. I guess
the
Sonyverse.
No, it's SMUC. SUMC.
Spider-Man Cinematic Universe.
It's SU.
I have no idea. Either way,
keep talking.
I think the big thing for them was, well, if you want Spider-Man, you have to do all this other stuff for us. Like, I think that was what they wanted.
Well, so...
And once they realized that's not happening, they're like, well, we can't just walk away from the Spider-Man that everybody loves. Like, most everybody, I guess. There are some people who don't like Tom Holland's Spider-Man for whatever reason. But, like...
Sony Universe of Marvel characters.
That's
so
weird.
SQMC.
But, like, it's mostly just the Spider-Man characters that they have, right? Like, they have just the Spider-Man film...
So it's basically just like every Spider-Man character, like all the villains and stuff, like Kraven, Morbius, all that.
Right, and to me, like, when they were like, we're going to do movies on all these villains, I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, if you were at least leading up to like a Sinister Six movie, I'd be like, okay, I guess, but...
Sure, but like...
You're having to humanize most of these villains, because you can't just make six super depressing movies and then make a seventh film that's just like...
It doesn't make sense. Like, making movies about villains is very tricky.
But, like,
you have to make the villain likable, otherwise nobody wants to watch your movie. But then you're making a villain likable.
Yeah, well, it's Breaking Bad, basically.
Right.
Of making your villain sympathetic to an extent, but then seeing the turn. So they need a side character in all of them that you can relate to.
Right.
Who you attach while watching the villain go crazy.
At that point, that formula gets old really quickly when you don't have the constant such as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I guess they were going to do that with Venom, I guess, maybe as their hero, because Venom is technically an anti-hero in the comics.
Have Venom fight the Six.
Right, that's what I was thinking they might do, which would be kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would like it, but, like, it could have happened because Kraven the Hunter could very easily just be hunting Venom, and they could just be like, well, since we're not doing Spider-Man now, like...
Well, it could do hunting symbiote, and then be like, well, he's hunting Spider-Man because... his powers are kind of like similar. To some... Yeah. But so here's my thing. So here's my other part of it. I think what's going to happen moving forward, and Sony would be incredibly stupid not to do this. So part of the deal, Kevin Feige hints at Tom Holland will appear in both universes.
Yeah.
In one of the quotes he gives, it sounds that way.
Mm-hmm.
So my not conspiracy theory, I feel like it's legitimately true, is Spider-Man will not have a solo movie that's not grounded in the MCU from now on.
Yeah.
Because why would your first Spider-Man movie crossed $1 billion? Finally, Far From Home was the first Spider-Man movie.
It does not make any sense to go against that.
Yeah, and so even giving up 25% of just Spider-Man, just those movies, and then do what they do like with Hulk.
Right.
Where Hulk, Universal gets the rights to if they make a Hulk movie, well, just put Spider-Man in so many of these Sony's universe of Marvel characters. Put them all in it. Put them all. And I get it. Yeah. Will it burn people out on Tom Holland? Maybe. But I think if that's the compromise you have to make, if that's like, hey, Spider-Man gets his trilogy and then Marvel somehow gets a deal where they're like, we'll let you acknowledge the MCU, or we'll let you acknowledge the MCU in your movies, but we get full control over just the Spider-Man solo movies, and they're like, give them a list of villains. They're like, hey, we want to use these characters.
Right.
Here's part of the deal, whatever.
I just want there to be actual open clarity on what the deal is.
You'll never get that.
I know, but like, I'm wondering if maybe they'll even re-sign a new deal.
I think so.
Because I feel like after the success of Into the Spider-Verse, they might want to consider that as an option.
So here's that movie did... it did well. It did really well. It did better than any of their other animated films. So we talked about that before. But, like, I don't know. I'm going to be curious on what Spider-Verse 2 looks like. Mm-hmm. Because they've got to be working on that. If your Best Picture wins, Sony will milk this thing. Mm-hmm. So my thing is after Far From Home success, Spider-Man 3 needs to happen, and then if they want to write him out of the MCU, which there's a lot of think pieces on that, none of that's all that's rumor. Everything you see is one guy who speculated they're writing him out of the MCU.
Right.
It'd be stupid of Sony to do that. It'd be stupid of Marvel to do that, because and they've built Spider-Man up to be this huge character. So in my mind, they'll probably do like a solo movie every couple of years. Let him be in the Sony universe. Let him be in the Marvel universe. There'll probably be some new contract. This whole ploy was Sony. I think Sony was the only one he ever saw commenting on anything.
Yeah.
The people who Feige only did because he had to in interviews. Tom Holland said just what he had to show fan support. But like, I think I think
this was Sony hunting for a better deal.
Right. I believe that Sony was like, well, the fans will be on our side. But, I mean, there's so much goodwill from the MCU that, like, fans were already like, oh, well, Spider-Man's gone. Like, did it suck? Yeah, but, like, even myself, I was like, well, it sucks. I mean, if he's gone, he's gone. But we have Fantastic Four, the X-Men, like...
Right, like, we have everything else.
Oh, well, I mean, we lost him. Does it suck? Yeah.
As much as I want Spider-Man, like, it can't revolve around just one character.
Yeah, I mean, like, This is like the flip of the coin. Would I trade Spider-Man for all the all the Fox characters? Probably not. Honestly, I
wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, like, Galactus,
as
Silver Surfer, like...
Yeah, Spider-Man is my favorite hero of all time.
Yeah.
I would not give up X-Men and the Fantastic Four for Spider-Man.
Right.
We have seen Spider-Man so many times. It has been done pretty much perfect at this point by the MCU, so there's not really a whole lot more they can do with it besides give me villains I haven't seen.
Right, and that's the thing that that's what I would want from the MCU version, because they've given the best, not even arguably, they are definitively the best live-action Spider-Man villains.
Yeah.
From the MCU. Vulture and Mysterio are definitively over all of the rest of the Spider-Man villains. Even Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Sandman, Venom, Lizard,
Green Goblin,
all of the freaking Amazing Spider-Man 2
The only ones that even come remotely close to me in my mind are Green Goblin and Doc Ock.
But I don't know how much of that is nostalgia holding me back.
I think it's a lot of nostalgia, and I think it just is in fact due to like the performances of the actors themselves.
Right. And
not necessarily what they did with the character.
Yeah, and I feel like they're not... This is going to sound weird. Vulture isn't really grounded, but I feel like they're not as grounded because... Like, okay, Doc Ock, for example. I was watching a video where they were talking about how, realistically, when Spider-Man was fighting him, when Spider-Man punched him once, Doc Ock should have just been passed out. Like, he's just a person.
Right, he's just got the mechanical arms.
Yeah.
He doesn't have super serum like Green Goblin does.
Right, and so there's just so many things like that I'm like, I get it. You're limited by your time and thinking it through, probably, but, like, I don't know. I think whatever. I'm glad he's back in the MCU. I mean, I figured it'd be the case.
I always thought that it was a matter of when. I didn't think it was going to be this soon.
Well, they've got to start production.
I thought that Sony I was willing to bet that Sony was going to let them sweat it out to try to get as much as possible.
Well, so my thing is Sony also... I think this is what happened. I think here's another thing that happened. Sony kept being like, well, Feige's too busy. And then, like... Earlier this week, well, I guess this is something else, Disney. Earlier this week, Feige's going to be producing some Star Wars movie, and so I think that's double meaning. One, I think it was showing that Kevin Feige is not too busy to be producing these Spider-Man films. Yeah, because
Kevin Feige will do whatever it takes.
Yeah,
there's a reason that was the tagline in Endgame. Whatever it takes.
Well, my favorite is like there's a meme where Feige's face is over Thanos, and it's like Columbia Pictures, Sony, and something else walking to him, and he's like, "You couldn't live with your failures."
And where did that lead you?
Back to me. And so it's like,
okay, so when I saw that he was back, I made a meme from the Fast and Furious movies where it's Vin Diesel and Paul Walker at the end of Furious 7. And I put Kevin Feige over Vin Diesel and Spider-Man over Paul Walker, and I had it say one last ride. Yeah. And I'm just like, hopefully that becomes reality, because it was not one last ride. They did more than one more movie.
But,
so I'm just like, give me as much Spider-Man as you can with Tom Holland.
Side note, did you see at The Rock and Vin Diesel?
They ended their beef.
Yeah, they ended their beef. And then The Rock teased him returning for a future Fast movie. Yeah. Where he's like, I'll see you later, Toretto. And it's like... That did give me a little bit of chills. I was like, I'm glad to see this stupid beef among men is done. Like, it's so stupid.
I love that we just made that comment because Rock's a professional wrestler, and there's a lot of professional wrestling news going on right now.
Yeah, I saw that. So I'm going to let you talk about that. Yeah. And then I know that Activision is, to my understanding, is the entire gaming community has turned on Modern Warfare. Yep. To the point where people are like, we're not buying it now. Yeah. Like I said, no one cares about Modern Warfare.
No. Here's the thing. Let's talk about that really quick, because I know that you're going to have an opinion on that versus the wrestling stuff, and I can do the wrestling stuff really quick. I'm pissed, and I'm getting it on PS4. Or I was going to get it on PS4. I haven't actually decided now.
I mean, like, it just...
Because, to me, this needs to be, most downvoted in Reddit history type reaction from gamers, I think.
So my understanding, I didn't look up a whole lot on it, because I'm not getting it. Yeah. I was going to get it, but then I was like, well, I don't really need it. Sure. I don't have time to play it. My understanding is they're just adding load of loot boxes to where it's going to be a pay to win for multiplayer?
Yes and no. There is also...
Oh, and the exclusive...
The exclusive game mode was the thing that I saw everybody...
That's really... I know a lot of people are mad about that because everyone who's like... They're like, it's going to be crossplay.
Right.
And so you now exclusive...
You exclude gamers from that.
Yeah.
And my concern, which I was talking about this with Jake while we were out getting lunch before the podcast... He was like, it's no different than exclusives. And I was like, it is different, and here's why. The reason it's different is because this is a cross-platform game.
Yeah.
And it's on every console. And this is the first major game to do that. And to basically be like, region locking a mode from gamers is wrong.
Yeah.
I do understand that there's like some sort of contract that Activision has with Sony.
Yeah, they had so my understanding... This goes back to, like, the beginning of the PS4 era.
Right, like
so,
Black Ops 3, I think, was the first game.
Yeah, if you remember, for the longest time, Xbox always got the DLC first. That was always, like, the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Sony has that deal with them, but since they're not... Basically, they negotiate the deal to give them... They have to give them exclusive modes, I think, or something exclusive, a timed exclusive thing. So they're giving them the spec op missions, whatever.
What it is that the previous Call of Duty games, you would get the map packs... like a month earlier than Xbox or PlayStation. And that's not a big deal. The problem with this is a game mode that comes with the game at launch. Mm-hmm. And they're gonna make sure that Xbox and PC players can't use it at the start of launch.
Which is a year. It's a year exclusive.
It's a year exclusive. And that's wrong, I think. Because you are basically... going in there and telling me you are both going to pay $60 for the game, but one of you's not getting the full game.
Yeah.
I think that's unfair. I think that's bad business practice. And I completely understand why people are upset.
I think it just shows that people are still wanting, like... I mean, people want you to buy it on PlayStation. They want you to be like...
Right, and this is my biggest gripe with that. We made such a big deal on this being cross-platform that it shouldn't matter what system you buy it on. I had such a blast playing the beta because I could tell who was on what system, and I thought that was the coolest thing. That gamers were going to get to come together regardless of console and enjoy a game together. To me, that was such a huge, monumental deal, and then Activision and Call of Duty basically screwed it all up by creating this flawed system, I guess, where, PlayStation, you get everything. Whoop-de-doo. Like, and then Xbox is just not going to get to use the mode. Neither is PC.
Yeah, and I know a bunch of people are mad, too, because of the loot box system, because it sounds like it's going to be a pay-to-win on, to win. Like, it sounds like if you pay more on some of the loot boxes, you're going to be more guaranteed to get better guns that increase your chances of winning multiplayer.
And I don't know why that is still a thing that video game companies keep trying.
I think loot boxes, at the end of the day, should just be cosmetic and not pay to win.
I don't care about skins. I don't care about calling cards or emblems or anything like that. But when you make it to where somebody gets a statistical edge or gets... unique in-game content, to me, that is just charging people for more than what they should be able to. And, like, I already feel like DLC is kind of pushing it, so now to just be like, we're just going to outright not give you content that you have to pay for if you want it.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. I think loot boxes are kind of an issue.
I'm surprised that, like, there hasn't been any sort of legal action against that.
Oh, in other countries are. In other countries, they have to show you the statistic of what you could get in every box. It's weird.
Right.
They show you...
I mean, like, here in the United States.
Well,
you would think...
It's been under review for a while. There's a lot of, like... In 2 years, who knows what we'll talk about loot boxes, if they're even around. But so that means that you need to capitalize on them now. Right. So Activision is basically doing this now because...
Almost every game is doing it now.
That's why Nintendo is king.
I know. Like, I've never had that issue with Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, the mobile games will, you know,
mobile games are different. But like the actual handheld console games, like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, I bought Smash Brothers and it was a full game. You know,
Yeah.
Granted, the Fighter Pass, like, you get new characters, but
I mean, you could buy each one of them for like dirt cheap. So.
right. But like at the end of the day, that's not content that was in the game prior. They built that content and then released it.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between that, and I think sometimes people forget that because there has been some game companies that have been caught locking things behind paywalls. And to me, when you do that, you as a company are dead to me. Because I shouldn't have to pay more than the $60 that I already was paying for. I gave you 100% of the money. I expect 100% of the game.
Yeah, this is like what EA did with Battlefront 2 when it first launched.
Which is what I was saying.
Yeah,
you pay like the most downvoted thing.
You paid Boogie and other people do the math, of course. But you're paying $60 for the game. You're paying $60 for the download pass. You're paying $120 for this game to get everything. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what a stupid thing. And that's what scares me about like Jedi Fallen Order is like I haven't paid off, but I'm like. The day reviews drop, if reviews are like super negative on it, I will cancel. Zero hesitation.
Yeah. I don't have it pre-ordered yet because I'm literally waiting.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to pay everything off, and so like I was like I'm gonna get it, and I'm like if reviews are bad, the money just goes to Final Fantasy or Animal Crossing or something else.
Something else, yeah. Something that you actually have, consumer trust in.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. So I'm gonna let you talk about the WWE stuff because we're gonna wrap this up in like the next 10-15 minutes. So.
Okay. So, 2 weeks ago. WWE moved their third brand that was exclusively on their streaming service to TV on the USA Network because about a year ago, a bunch of wrestlers got together and created an event called All Out, and it was the first non-WWE event to draw over 10,000 people in 20 years. This is a huge deal because a bunch of like advertisers and business owners and stuff were looking at this and they're like, oh wow, there's actually a market for this. So Tony Khan, the son of Sadid Khan, who owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, was like, hey, I want to start a wrestling company. And they're doing that. And they have an exclusive TV rights deal on TNT. That's huge. Because TNT reaches like, I think, 80% of households in America, like more than what USA does right now, I think. And it's like they announced earlier this year that they were going to air their content on Wednesday nights. So then WWE is like, well, okay, we're going to take our streaming service brand and we're going to put that on TV on Wednesday nights. For the first time in 20 years, there's competition in the professional wrestling industry, and I absolutely love it. I'm probably going to talk about wrestling from time to time on this podcast.
Which is totally fine. This podcast, I mean, that's why it's not like anything.
I mean, it's like, what have you been watching? What have you been doing?
Yeah.
I stopped watching wrestling because I was so uninterested because there was no competition for WWE. Like, there was, but like it wasn't on TV. To the extent where anybody can access it. Like, there's some wrestling on, like, certain, like, broadcasting services. Like, if you had DirecTV, you had, like, a certain channel. Like, back in the day, there was one on Spike TV, and then they switched to a different station and everything. And then, of course, there's, like, Japan, which Japanese wrestling is awesome.
Fire Pro, right? Is Fire Pro,
that's the name of the game. But the actual promotion that, like, a lot of people talk about is New Japan Pro Wrestling. And they kick the crap out of each other. I should just send you like just stiff shots of people getting kicked in the face because it's something to watch.
I'm kind of curious about it.
Like, and I love it just because Japan takes everything to the extreme, and some of their characters over there, like there's a guy who like wears like the UA outfit from
My Hero,
and I'm like that
2 weeks.
Yeah, I know it's coming. And I'm like, that's so cool that Japan just, like, does their own thing with wrestling. So, like, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. What was the last thing that I wrote? I never talked about what games I played. It doesn't matter. I played a little bit of Pokemon Red.
Because of the 21-year anniversary.
Because of 21-year anniversary. It dawned on me that Pokemon Diamond and Pearl is 13 years old.
Yeah, somebody tweeted out.
I was like, this can't be real.
People were tweeting out how like Diamond and Pearl are 13 years old, and then somebody else is like, well, Red and Blue are 21 this year, and people were like, oh my gosh, how old am
I? I shared that on my Piccolo page, and I was just like, I could technically take a copy of Pokemon Red or Blue to a bar and buy it a drink.
Yeah, so there's a rumor.
And I was like, that's incredible.
There's a rumor that we won't dig into too deep because who knows. But so the same person who reported the Kanto remakes and Let's Go form said that Pokemon Company is kind of like, it's looking like a Sinnoh remake might happen next year.
I've been wondering where it's been for a while.
Well, I figured they moved all their development to, because it's moved to Switch.
Right.
So all their development team has moved to
Right. So I was like, well, obviously with the Switch, like, the remakes are gonna wait.
Yeah, well, so my crazy conspiracy theory is you're going to see very minimal / no Gen 4 Pokemon in Sun or Sword and Shield because all their work will be in Diamond and Pearl, and then they'll let you transfer the Pokemon around because they can patch in.
I've been thinking that too, because then you'll be able to use the National Dex from that game.
Yeah.
And you'll have all the Pokemon. That's what I've been thinking. I never thought it was that big of a deal that you didn't have access to all the Pokemon anyway, because you usually just run with your 6 and that's it. So it's like, calm down.
It's just if one of your 6 isn't in the game. But I like using all new. Like
I love it when a new Pokemon game comes out. There's a thrill to me about catching a Pokemon for the first time and not knowing anything about it. Not its moves, not what level it evolves, how it evolves, like its stats or anything. That is so much fun to me. And that's why I always keep coming back to the series. Like, what's the Corgi Pokemon? Yamper? I think is its name.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I can't wait to get one of those.
But I'm so excited for Sword and Shield.
Oh yeah.
I think the controversy behind it is so stupid, and I get why you're mad, and like if your favorite Pokemon isn't in it, I get it. But like, I think it's so ridiculous that you can't just like enjoy it. Like,
here's the thing, man. Like, I can understand like people being upset.
Competitive players, I understand why you're mad.
Yeah, competitive, I get it, but most people are casuals. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like.
But the competitive scene, I get why they're upset, and I think they're the vocal minority.
Yeah.
I think that's what caused the problems, is that people like see that, and then other people are like, well, I don't really understand this, and so since this is trending, or this is like all over the internet, it means it's bad.
I think it's only a matter of time until they get that fixed, though.
Yeah, well, like, look at Let's Go. Let's Go had so much controversy behind it, but it's one of the highest selling, that's a lie. Profit-based is one of the highest, but I mean, $60 versus $40, but like, still, like, it sold crazy numbers. Like, get over it.
Here's the thing. If you're gonna buy it, shut up.
Yeah. Like, well, that's the problem. Everyone who's gonna buy it is quiet.
You're gonna vote with your wallet.
Yeah.
Like,
same thing with like Modern Warfare. Same thing with any of these. If you're really that mad about it, don't buy it.
Don't buy it. Yeah.
Stand by what you believe.
That's what I said about Link's Awakening when I thought it was just a remake.
Which I mean, it is. I get where you're coming from. I think though, like that's right. But I get the controversy behind certain things is one thing. But like games like that where you're like, well, there's so many microtransactions or so many things like that, where they're just like it changes the core mechanic of the game. Then vote with your wallet.
What if Nintendo released this new Pokemon game and they were like, the National Dex is locked behind a paywall?
I could not defend them on that. I
would be very, very pissed off.
Yeah.
I would be like, you're telling me that I have to buy each Pokemon individually to find it out in the wild. Could you imagine that? The balls of that? Like
a pre-order bonus from the Nintendo stores, you get the National Dex.
Oh God.
But so let's bring us home here.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else.
I would like to give a few shout outs and talk about our future because I have some ideas and I figured if I just vocalize them on the podcast, we're stuck to them.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
I'm being dragged into this and I don't even know what I'm being held against my will with. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So one shout out, Trash Bin. They're a YouTube gaming channel run by my brother and his friend. I'm actually going to be on an episode, and so is Tanner, who was on here, and then Jimmy, who has also been on this podcast, are also
our old editor that has never come back.
Made it one episode. He made it 2 episodes. He helped us set up, so we owe him that much.
Yeah, we do.
But
he's honestly, any of our friends are always welcome on here. They just have to ask. I don't give a crap.
I wouldn't want to ask to be on here. But
No, they have to ask us.
I wouldn't want to ask to be on here. I wouldn't want to be on this. Ryan isn't even on it right now. He's gone.
Yeah, Ryan left us.
But so I want to give them a shout out, and I will be appearing on one of their episodes. I think I'm not going to be on. They're doing a Pokemon Nuzlocke right now, and I think I'm going to be in a future episode of that. We'll see. They're also doing a Link's Awakening playthrough. So those are like the two that I really like of their content. So I recommend watching them, checking them out. They deserve more views. Cole's very passionate about this. My brother does it as a hobby. Cole wants this to be like a career.
Good luck, man. I wish you all the best.
Yeah, but I just strongly recommend it. I also now want to vocalize a thought I've had, and I've had for a long time, is I want us to start a YouTube channel as a gaming channel that
I think that's a great idea.
Coincide this. However, you have got to commit to stream with me. Like, that's it.
I know.
We're gonna get. So here's my crazy conspiracy theory. Get a 19-inch TV, mount it right in this wall. Get a capture card and run from the computer, and then use the computer for Twitch.
Yeah.
Streaming from there, and then run like all the games we need from there. Like run a PS3, all that crazy thing that'll be off in the future.
Listen,
but
here's the thing. I'm not against that at all. I love that idea. My problem is with my current job right now, streaming.
Could do Saturday mornings.
I could. But the problem is my hours don't really line up for that right now.
Right. What I'm saying, I get that. But what I'm saying is we could do just Saturday mornings or Saturday afternoons until because when we get, I'll explain later. But I think it'll work out. I think Saturdays are going to be the most free day. We could do a streaming day.
Yeah.
On just Saturdays, and then maybe throughout the week, potentially, or Saturday we don't stream or record video game content.
Yeah.
But I have an idea. I want us to do a Nuzlocke. I want us before we even start streaming. I want me and you to sit down.
I would love to do a Nuzlocke.
Me and you are going to sit down and with Ryan, if we can all together find time. Because we're going to have to do it on Saturday mornings. That's statistically.
That's the best day.
Unless you and him both have a night off, which.
That never happens.
Have to be like a Tuesday
Here's
right
the
now.
Thing. That's never going to happen now at this point.
Yeah.
Not with where we're at, and we really shouldn't even get into that. We'll go on forever.
But I'm just saying, that's something I would want.
No, I think Saturday would be the best day, based off of everything that I know.
Yeah, so maybe in January.
My freedom.
So my hope is in January 2020 or February at the latest in 2020 to start a streaming channel and potentially streaming Twitch and potentially start a YouTube gaming channel where you take the archive footage of that. Ryan or somebody can edit it down to it'd be the next week. So if you watched it live on Twitch, you got to see the raw unedited version, and then on YouTube the week after.
Right.
You would see an episode, and then that same day we'd be streaming on Twitch later.
Yeah.
So here's a highlight of everything that's happened. Mm-hmm. But that's my crazy would love to do.
I think it's a fun idea. I would love to at least explore it.
Yeah. Well, we could just use Jittery Jackknife as a jump off point. You already got your.
I'm an affiliate. Yeah.
Yeah, base, and so
I wonder if I could change my name.
If not, we could do Nothing Coherent and then just have you. Let you have your own streaming side. But I don't know. I don't know if you want to do that because then. We'd have to associate all the subscribers that we get. It'd have to be divided amongst the three of us instead of just you.
We would figure that out. So I think it would probably be easier to just set up a new Twitch.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking,
and we could just call it Nothing Coherent and just be done with it and not deal with it. Because I don't even know with me being an affiliate that I can even do that. And I don't know how payment would work.
Yeah, so...
Because technically Nothing Coherent would then be a business.
Yeah.
So
that's just something I would like to do, and I want to pitch for 2020. So and Ryan wants weekly episodes. We're gonna try. Again, it's just right now it's really hard.
Well, you're about to get married. Ryan's in the process of doing very adult things.
Yeah, and so Zach's just chill and enjoying life.
I am usually the only one that's free.
So we're trying our best. Worst case scenario, the next upcoming weeks is gonna be a little harder, and there will be a couple episodes that are just Ryan and Zach.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you've got your wedding, your honeymoon, everything.
Yeah. So just as we're moving closer to that, expect that coming out.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, so remember, check out Trashman. It's just Trashman. It's kind of hard to find their content on YouTube because you want to put Trashman Gaming. If you search Trashman and put Pokemon Nuzlocke or Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, you'll probably find them. Yeah. They have an Instagram that the creator of one of the games they played liked one of their posts.
Huh.
So. My brother was really proud of that. They have merch, actually.
What?
Yeah. They have t-shirts. I don't think they're selling them yet.
We don't have merch.
I know, but I asked them for a t-shirt, so I might be getting a shirt from them.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so hopefully next week is Joker reviews. Hopefully everyone gets a chance to talk about them, if we make it out alive. And So yeah, hopefully we have an episode next week.
We should.
Or that nothing bad happens. But so yeah, remember to check us all out. Anything else you want to plug?
Not that I can think of. Just follow us on Twitter at Nothing Coherent. We're on YouTube. We don't really.
Twitter might be Coherent Nothing.
Is it? Oh yeah, it is.
Instagram is Nothing Coherent. Twitter is Coherent Nothing. Facebook we've got.
I mixed those up.
Yeah, I do too. I had to think about it. We're on literally any kind of podcast service. We're on all of them. Spotify is of course our most popular one.
Yeah.
But if you're on Apple Podcasts and you want to leave us a review, even if not a bad review, you can trash talk us, but give us 5 stars. Be like worst podcast ever, 5 stars.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be so bad. For us to remember our social media things if we actually had access to them.
Yeah, Ryan.
Ryan!
But anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for enjoying this rambling episode because we
were just shooting the breeze, man. This is kind of more of my favorite type of episode where we just chill.
Yeah, the theme ones take a little bit longer, and we need to prepare for them better, so that's kind of part of the problem.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I sat down one day, just wrote out like 25, 26 different things. One of them being an April Fool's
we're on
joke.
episode 24, so...
Yeah.
But anyway, I gotta wrap this up because I gotta get going.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we're back next week. Remember to... we don't have a YouTube. Well, we do, but we don't have many videos on it. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That has not many videos on it.
Here's the thing. We might actually start, uploading to YouTube.
Maybe on that channel. But thank you for checking us out. Thank you for listening. Any closing remarks?
No, this has been Nothing Coherent. Thank you and goodbye.